Could it be?
Yes.
Indubitably. I don't know, man.
It is definitely
Copacetic.
As I see it.
It's perfectly copacetic.
Welcome to It's Copacetic. We have with us here today John Harker as well as Hyrum Noble. This is our second podcast that we're getting in the can here, and we'd like to let everyone know the reason that we often talk to one another is because there is a father and son relationship. This old guy right here is actually the father of the other two gentlemen, and I like to torture them by making them participate in things like this. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, see, I don't know if you're torturing us or if we're torturing you, so that's yet to be determined.
This is quite true because there could be some torture there.
Mwah.
Mwah. Okay. Well, one of the things that I would like to talk about today, since I got us kicked off, is what is it about Coke Zero that makes it amazing?
It's definitely the aspartame. I've been a fan of aspartame for a long time, and I don't care if it gives you cancer. There's nothing else like it. It's just delicious. You can put it in anything, man.
I've failed as a father.
I don't care if I die at 50. If I can drink Diet Coke and Coke Zero and Diet Dr. Pepper.
No, cancel that. First off, let's get something straight. Coke Zero is not Diet Coke. Diet Coke is purely trash. You can hate Pop-Tarts, I can hate Diet Coke.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you hating Diet Coke, but sometimes a man needs a little aspartame, and it's the only way. Okay, some restaurants don't have Coke Zero Diet Dr. Pepper.
Well, they should.
I mean, you're right, but it's in a time of need.
Harker, what's your beverage of choice?
I like Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm very simple in that regard.
Are you pretty clear on that? You don't venture out much?
Well, I just don't feel a need to, It's not that I dislike other things. There's just no reason.
Well, and there is the aspect that Diet Dr. Pepper is more prevalent than Coke Zero.
I don't know about that. I feel like Diet Dr. Pepper's always been the indie drink. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of an offshoot. Diet Coke seems to be very common.
Unfortunately, I feel it's way, way too common because I don't know what it is about Diet Coke, but every time I've had one, I have this terrible aftertaste that's just like, I just can't stand.
I'm proud to say that right now I'm drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper because I'm a true American. I'm a patriot, and I can't stand it. I've never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke, to be frank.
That's true. I've never seen... Well, I take that back. I have seen it. It is a rarity, though. But I am currently consuming a Coke Zero, which got me thinking about it because it's just sweet goodness. I mean, I do like Diet Dr. Pepper. It's one of my top drinks. But given the chance, I think I lean towards Coke Zero.
I don't know, man. I feel like Coke Zero has to be ice cold, though. You know what I mean? Like, beyond the point of recognition, almost.
Regardless of whether you like Diet Dr. Pepper, Coke Zero, or even that most disgusting drink called Diet Coke, you got to admit, Pepsi is sweet.
What? Wait. So what, are you saying Pepsi is better than Coke?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that it's sweet.
You better not
like
be.
If you
okay.
Like it tastes sweet, not the colloquial sweet. Like it is very
good.
sugary.
When I was a kid, I drank a ton of Pepsi. I loved Pepsi. But the older I've gotten, I can't do it. A regular Pepsi is just like somebody punching you in the face. In those commercials where it's like, oh, we're going to save the world and stop the riots and start handing out Cokes. Or what was it? It was Pepsi's. That was a Pepsi
dude,
commercial,
it was Pepsi. It was like Caitlyn Jenner too, or whatever the frick.
Yeah, it stops the world because it clogs your arteries so bad you wouldn't be able to riot because it's just so saturated with sugar.
Well, it stops your heart, man.
The thing is also that Diet Pepsi just misses the point of Pepsi because it's meant to be like super sweet and sugary. So either way, it's a failure.
Yes, true. Diet Pepsi doesn't work. It just doesn't. I mean, if over Diet Coke, yes, I'll drink a Diet Pepsi, but I prefer almost any other. I'll even go to like a Sprite Zero or something before I go to Pepsi.
I have to make a bold statement here. Diet Pepsi, in my opinion, worse than Diet Coke. And there's one simple reason. They were one of the ones who, back when the whole rumors about aspartame came out, they were like, oh, we're going to take aspartame out of our drinks. Aspartame's awesome, okay? Makes everything taste better. And the fact that Diet Pepsi felt the need to go around slandering aspartame really hurts my feelings.
Well, look, I don't think everyone shares your masochism for aspartame. So, I mean, that's up to you, buddy. But
look, dude, I like what I like. And there's one thing I've noticed. Anything that has aspartame in it is delicious.
Well, yeah, but
I'm getting the sense, though, Harker. He kind of likes what he likes. He just defends things because he thinks it's trendy.
No, dude. I ride or die on the aspartame. I've had aspartame every day for the past year, probably.
You just have a problem.
Yeah. Just let's say it. There's a problem in house. We'll get to that.
I've had probably 700 milligrams of caffeine today alone.
You should probably really like dial it back. Because if you're having that much caffeine, you're probably going to dehydrate.
Oh, I do. But I just supplement that by drinking even more caffeinated beverages.
Yeah. Your poor kidneys. I mean, do you want to live past the age of 40?
That reminds me, I was feeling this weird pain in my lower stomach the other day. I
don't even want to hear it. Okay. Well, as you know, it's around Halloween time, and the topic of pumpkin carving is on everybody's mind. And I just want everybody to know of my utter disdain for the act, this traditional art, I guess you call it, of taking a perfectly good pumpkin and carving into it some hideous, pathetic face that is supposed to invoke fear in the hearts of children.
I think you might be overcomplicating a little bit, but
allow me to play devil's advocate here. I like it for the sole reason of it provides pumpkin seeds, which I can then eat, and so I have no qualms with pumpkin carving. I'm not very artistic, so I'm complete garbage at it. But if someone else is carving a pumpkin, I can just like take the seeds like some kind of vulture, because they don't want the seeds.
Well, so you have a motive in it.
I'm coming for your seeds, boy. Give me your seeds.
You know, that's probably, as far as with his devil's advocate that he says he's played, that's probably probably one of the most legit arguments I've ever heard about the art of harvesting a pumpkin. But the thing I have a problem with is the whole ritualistic, like, I don't know, and this is
I wouldn't
my
call
own
it
experiences.
I wouldn't call it ritualistic. I mean, they're not carving the same thing into the pumpkin. It's really quite expressionist.
They kind of are, though.
Like, yeah, but I'm not talking about necessarily the pumpkin itself and the face that's carved into it. I'm talking about like the like time frame. Oh, it's Halloween. We've got to get a pumpkin. We've got to carve a jack-o'-lantern. Like, first of all, I don't know much about the history of jack-o'-lanterns.
Oh, I know a lot about the history of jack-o'-lanterns.
Well, fill me in, because I would like to find whoever did that and like stop them.
So basically,
like, if I build a time machine, I'm going back to stop it.
Okay, so basically it started out with, I believe, in Irish folklore that there was this dude whose name was Jack, and basically he tricked the devil somehow. I don't remember all the details, and I don't want to get the story wrong, so I'll just skim over it. He tricked the devil somehow, and so to get back at him, the devil, like, made him walk around. He was, like, headless, took away his head, and then made him wander around with a turnip with a face carved into it. And so originally jack-o'-lanterns were made out of turnips and not pumpkins, but then when it came to the United States, they changed to pumpkins. And so it was an old Irish thing that people...
I just got this like visual of like this little carved turnip, because a turnip is not exactly even anywhere on the same scale as a pumpkin.
But they'd be smaller, and they wouldn't be faces on the turnips, from my understanding. They'd just like be a lantern made out of a turnip. Maybe there would be faces involved. There would be.
How big do turnips get?
They were like big too. Based off the images I've seen, it's like at least the size of like 2 human fists put together. This is a pretty big turnip.
I don't think I've ever seen a turnip in real life. It's like Animal Crossing. That's about it.
Yeah, well, I've seen them in the store. I mean, maybe I live in an area with pathetic turnips that grow here, but I mean, I don't know of any turnips. I mean, I just got this massive visual of this dude running around Ireland with this little pinhead turnip on top of his head.
Oh no, he's
freaking people out.
It's not.
Who
it's
you
not
calling
on his head. He's like
pinhead?
carrying it.
Oh, he's carrying the turnip?
Yeah, so it's not like his head. And I just remembered, I gotta correct myself. The whole point was that they'd carve faces into the turnips to scare him away. So yes, there were faces involved originally.
So it's like a scary face thing. See, I'm like, and to me, that's what I mean by this ritualistic thing. It's like, oh, on the week before October 31st, we must carve our jack-o'-lantern to set it out in front. And it's just like this big old to-do. And maybe I'm just a killjoy and I have a problem with fun. But to me, it's always never been worth the mess.
I mean, whether or not it's worth the mess is up for debate, but I'd argue that the whole ritualistic argument, the same could be said about Christmas being taken from the pagans. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Christmas is awesome.
Well, but that's just a favoritist argument. I mean,
I don't care.
What does it matter, Harker? What does it matter? It's all the same.
Well, that's my point. It's very similar, so you can't just call out jack-o'-lanterns without...
Okay, let me say this one thing. One day you gentlemen will grow up and have families of your own, and you will find that carving a jack-o'-lantern, and that all that ever means is that you have to go purchase a jack-o'-lantern. You have to supervise children with knives or sharp objects.
I was going to say, that's my favorite part, you know? Giving little kids knives.
There's the mess that's created because, of course, it's always too cold the week before October 31st to do it outside. So, I mean, I rarely have I ever done that. So it's always like kitchen counter, kitchen table, and you have to spread out this plastic and or deal with just sticky, icky mess that comes out of these pumpkins, right? Because they got to scoop them. And then whoever scoops a pumpkin right? Nobody. No kid ever scooped out a pumpkin correctly. So who does it lead to? Oh, Daddy, clean this pumpkin up. So I've got to get my hands down in there just to make sure everything's cleaned out of this thing so we can put a candle or now that's lights down in this pumpkin so it'll rot on my porch.
Well, see, that's why I'm going to raise my children properly, and we're just going to carve 5-gallon buckets. And every year it'll be the same 5-gallon bucket, and they'll each get their own. When they turn 10, they'll get to choose what face they want in their 5-gallon bucket.
Okay, I apologize and I repent because that is the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's not like you can just take a knife to a 5-gallon bucket. What are you, Phil Swift? It's not that easy, especially the side. You're gonna cut yourself.
Hey, look, the idea is still in the woodwork. You know, I'm still working on it, but, you know, considering I just came up with that like 30 seconds ago, I feel pretty proud of it.
You should carve faces into onions.
Why?
Because, you know, Shrek, he likes onions. He might come visit you.
Hyrum, don't you have a theory for us that involves the First Lady of the United States, like the former one?
Yes. I've been thinking about this theory for a while, and it's the idea. So it's widely renowned that Michelle Obama ruined school lunches. Now, I don't know if it was directly her, but you know, that's the idea, right? That she had this whole like tirade about school lunches, and I remember back in the glory days when you know, she was in office, this trash school lunches. Well, she wasn't in office, but you know what I mean. Like
when her husband was in office.
Yeah, she was all about the school lunches. Like that was the hill she was going to die on. So like, she changed the school lunches nationwide. She changed the standards, right? She made it so that the food was more healthy. So here's the theory. This is pretty deep, guys.
Was it though?
It wasn't more healthy. It was just disgusting. Because seriously, what kind of like sixth grader wants to eat sweet potato fries? I've never seen a sixth grader in my life who likes sweet potatoes.
Although I do have to say, when at least at our school, they put like such an inordinate amount of salt on and like pepper on those things that like pretty much if you rubbed it on any other of the food items, you could season your food with the fry. Not
Anyways,
so.
back to the theory.
Although they were disgusting, they were useful.
That's rough.
The idea here is this, right? So the school lunches got worse. Kids barely ate any of them. And I'm sure, Harker, you can attest to that too. Kids threw away so much of their lunch. Didn't touch any of it at all.
I mean, granted, most of that was like apples and stuff, which they would have. I don't even know why they took them, because you didn't anyway.
But still, you see that especially in high school. Kids just trash the whole tray, basically. They don't touch it. And then you see the rise of the after-school snack. I feel like if you say after-school snack, everyone understands that. Because the food they give you at school is so bad. I mean, it's never been great, but it was especially bad at that period.
Well, I remember it getting so controversial that like some schools were even having an issue with certain foods that other kids would bring from home to subsidize their lunch.
They had their moms bringing in Little Caesar and McDonald's and crap just all day. So but because they locked all that down, they made them only eat the school lunch. Now, why would they do this? To make Americans healthier? No. Michelle Obama took a dive, so to speak. She took a payoff from the big snack food companies, okay? Because she knew all those little kids were going to get home and go straight for the Tyson chicken nuggets and the Pop-Tarts. Yes, that's right. Pop-Tarts? Conspiracy? Michelle Obama? Pop-Tarts paid off Michelle Obama to ruin school lunches. Now, I can't confirm this, but I mean, if you look at the stock market prices of like Tyson Foods, drastically increased during the Obama administration. I wonder why. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? The pieces line up, okay? And if we can...
we better get on this. We better check. I want you to check the prices of sweet potatoes. Like, did the sweet potato market have a huge increase at that time?
I don't know if I can just Google sweet potato market price fluctuations, but I'll look into it.
We should definitely look into it because, that's, I don't know, maybe that's a possibility. We could start a new conspiracy going around that Michelle Obama is wrecking school lunches to promote some kids having, that would be totally heartless, dude. If this were true, this would be worse than Watergate.
I don't know if that would necessarily be the case. No, not very.
What if she's profiting off of starving kids? Like, there are kids in this country that all they get to eat is at school.
Well, I mean, they could just suck it up and eat the sweet potato, Like, it is food.
They probably did.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know if there's an equivalency here.
So Hyrum's theory is that Michelle Obama is taking kickbacks from Tyson chicken nuggies.
It all adds up. That's all I can say. I mean, you'd think to yourself, why would she, go about this? Does she really care about, fat little kids in middle school? Probably not. I mean, she probably just wants some bread, you know what I'm saying?
Probably not.
I mean, who cares about the little fat lords eating, who cares,
little
dude?
Little Tubby Roger needed a chicky nuggy, dude.
Who cares if it takes Timmy 20 minutes to run the mile? It doesn't matter.
Hey, I think I was one of those kids that probably took 20 minutes to run a mile, so ease up, bro.
I never sunk that low, but I wasn't one of those kids running the 5-minute mile either. I was like, I was not looking great. Harker?
Yeah,
what was the fastest mile you ever ran? Do you know?
I don't know, but when they made me do it in high school, I did it in like 17 minutes, but I was wearing a back brace at the time, so I could hardly breathe.
Okay, that's fair. I was going to say I absolutely trashed you then, but I mean, you were wearing a literal brace. We're not talking like one of those whack, like fake injury brace. Like, it was like a full body.
Pretty much a corset made out of plastic and metal.
Well, I will say, I mean, and we can all admit to this, the mile run that you have to do in school in a classroom of peers is probably one of the great defining moments in people's lives, right?
I don't know.
Honestly,
about
I forgot about it like the day after.
But like, it's a great defining moment in that moment in time, because you have those people that are going to crank out the 5-minute mile, and they're like, okay, today is my day to shine, right? And yeah, a very select few of those are going to go on to run in the Olympics, right? But you have these other people that, you know, they may not be as athletic or that, but it's just not their cup of tea, and they just get trashed in this like humiliating show where somebody has to lap them 3 times. You know, come on, dude. Like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to go punch out a 5-minute mile on me when I was just trying to survive.
When I'm on that therapist bench 20 years from now, and they're like, where did it all go wrong? I'm going to tell them, most traumatic experience of my life was losing that mile. It's so hard. You've never felt like Cartman more than when you run a mile in like, what? Oh, anything over 13 minutes, basically. It's just terrible. It's not good at all. It really doesn't look good either.
Well, I tell you what, I don't think chicken nuggies are doing any benefit for the 5-minute mile either.
Yeah, I mean.
And I want to know, where's the proof? Where's the proof that kids got healthier, that kids weigh less? Because as far as I'm seeing, the numbers, like, I'm not showing some dramatic improvement in the health of kids from, you know, 2000, before 2016, 2008, 2016. Not really seeing that.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, kudos to her for having something and trying to accomplish something in that time frame. And you can say she made a difference. Hopefully her motives weren't as nefarious as Hyrum thinks they are.
She's getting kickbacks from Big Snack Food. And I just realized, but if she was doing that right, then she'd just be making the kids even fatter, which would allow her to even prove more that we needed to get healthier so that she could plug her snack foods even more.
Whoa.
There's layers upon layers to those guys.
This is conspiracy on high level here.
I really like the part where Pop-Tarts ties into this as an evil conspirator. That was just a joke, Pop-Tarts. Please don't sue me.
And Pop-Tarts are flat. Like the earth is flat.
She was trying to get all those fat kids to run off the earth, or the edge of the earth just go straight off.
There's an ice wall there, dude.
Nah, dog, you just fall straight off. You ever seen Inception? It just like curves downward.
Oh, okay. You could be walking downtown Chicago. Next thing you know, next block. There you go. Later.
Whee!
Well, speaking of Inception, I rather enjoyed that movie. It's a real. I like movies that kind of make you think, get your brain going. What are some movies or TV shows or podcasts, or what's some media that you guys are partaking of these days that you'd like to recommend? All
right, so there were a few things recently, and I think I was telling you about this earlier. I told you I was going to mention it. There's this it's like a mini series. There's a mini anime series on Netflix. It is called Erased. Okay, I forced Harker to watch this. I called him like 3 times. I was like, Harker, you got to get on this, dude.
Is that true, Harker?
Yes, it is true.
It is hands down the best like anime.
Wait, stop. Before you say anything.
Okay.
I would like Harker, since you forced him, to give his recommendation.
I mean,
Harker, what do you think of it?
It is definitely pretty all right. It is a good show.
Boom shakalaka.
It is pretty all right. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Harker has confessed this show that Hyrum likes is pretty all right.
It's got a 10 out of 10.
Oh, boom. 10 out of 10. You can't get better.
10 out of 10 is pretty all right?
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
it's good. It's real good. Okay. Like,
man, Hyrum, you sound convinced that this is like an epic must-watcher.
It is. It's really good. It's surprising. It's probably the best anime product I have seen to date.
So what's it called?
It's called Erased. It's about this guy who has this random ability to jump back in time a little bit to prevent tragedies and stuff. And then one day he hops back to when he's like a little kid, when he's like 8 or 10. And he has to unravel this mystery and to prevent this tragedy. It's great. It's great.
Is this kind of like where Deadpool got that time travel device at the end?
I guess you could say it's similar to that, but not really. Yeah. 10 out of 10
Deadpool
IGN. And after I watched it, I Googled the reviews, because I like to do that after I watch something, because then I can see if, I'm just retarded or if it actually is good. I can kind of get a gauge for like, and this thing, like, if I remember correctly, I had like a 9.5 on like
Wow.
whatever review platform I saw it on out of 10. And I was like, I agree. It is good. It is a good show. And it's not that long either. It's only like 12 episodes.
So you're endorsing this episode, huh? Or
I
this,
hereby endorse
series?
Erased.
Erase.
Absolute banger.
Who's the creator?
I don't know, some Japanese people. I can't read the credits, dude.
Is it a dubbed anime or is it all subtitles?
It's dubbed. It has a few voice actors I recognize from other shows, but it's pretty good dub too. It's a good dub.
That's a good dub.
People hate on dub all the time. Dub's pretty good. I cannot watch sub for the life of me. So,
Well, the problem I have with watching sub is I like to stay with the artistic flow, right? Anime has this very different, I don't know, I want to say dichotomy. I don't know if that's the right word. Very different
Pace.
flow. Yeah, flow and pace to it than traditional American cartoons that I grew up on. Right?
Western media.
Plus, like their use of backgrounds, their use of characters, their use of art to display expressions is something that I want to partake of and kind of feast my eyes upon. And I feel like I can't fully appreciate that, at least on the first time through, when I have to read the dialogue of what's taking place. Because sometimes by the time you read the dialogue, you've missed any visual insight.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point in watching a sub? I can't, like, I don't know about you guys, I'm not a lizard. I can't, like, split my eyes in, like, 2 different places at once. Like, it's just reading a book for me.
No, dude, I'm convinced that people that are like, oh, sub's the only way to go, they're just trying to be snobbish about it. That's just my whole thing. I'm just like, I'm sorry. You're just like, you got your nose in the air. Great for you. Yeah, you're the sub master of all times. I'm sorry you can't really truly enjoy our piece of artwork. Now,
I ain't saying sub's the worst thing ever. Because, dude, there was this movie, too. Talking about recommendations. You seen Train to Busan? Busan? I don't know. It's Korean. I can't say it. But Train to Busan?
I have not.
It's a pretty great movie. But it's only in Korean, and it's only subbed. But, like, the thing that works great about it is that it's not a dialogue-heavy movie. It's mostly visual. So, like, the fact that it's subbed didn't hurt it. And I was skeptical, right? Because, like I told you, I hate subs. But it worked well, and it's a good movie.
Well, there are ways to definitely do that. I mean, and that's just it. If it's just not available in dub, you can still appreciate it in sub. You might have to watch it more than once to really get the full effect, but you can still appreciate a show that just doesn't happen to have a dub.
But yeah, it's a live action movie about zombies, but it's like in Korea. It's really good. Would recommend it. I give it like an 8 out of 10, something like that. Well, maybe 7.5. It's pretty good. I like it.
All right, so Hyrum's throwing out the anime recommendations. Harker, you got anything that you've liked in the past?
So, this isn't really a specific piece of media. However, considering it is spooky season, I would like to talk about... So on YouTube, there's kind of a whole subgenre of videos of people that will read scary stories called creepypastas. And they're
creepypastas?
Yes. And they're basically stories written by random people on the internet that are supposed to be scary stories. Some of them are absolute garbage, but some of them are pretty good. And typically the ones they choose to read are some of the better ones. And I just like to listen to stories, and there's not a lot of other stories online that you don't have to pay for an audiobook for, And so I greatly appreciate those.
It's basically, you remember that one time we were in the car and we listened to that scary story when we were driving somewhere?
I think I do remember that slightly, that we were like listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
Or no, it was a story.
It was a horror story.
We were listening to the radio and it came on and it's like, what is, because, and I like that too, but there are some of those radio stations are hard to find where they'll have like a story hour. And I always, in my mind, I go back to like War of the Worlds on one of the radio stations and something along those lines. But yeah, it was a story. And I remember there were some kids in it, But yeah, I can't really remember the full gist of it, but I remember that experience.
Yeah, anyways, it's basically that. It's just like a scary story you listen to.
Yeah. And there are several different YouTube channels that'll do it.
So are they all under like the genre of spooky pasta?
Yeah, they're all called creepypastas.
Oh,
Well,
creepypastas.
There are
Yes.
ones that exist outside of that, but creepypasta was like a subsection of them, I guess you could say.
Well, no.
Is it like, does the pasta stand as like an acronym or something like that? Or is it just...
I have no clue.
I have no idea. I just know that that's what they're called, and that there are several different YouTubers who just their whole thing is that they'll just do these stories.
Yeah.
So they're like the narrators. And
Okay.
so
So it's kind of like a campfire style story somebody come up with, and
yes, that's exactly it. And so my personal favorite is a guy who goes by the YouTube name of Creeps MC Pasta. I just like his voice and his cadence in the stories. But there's a lot of other good ones too. So if you ever just want to listen to like a story instead of music or something, that's my personal go-to.
how long are his?
They can range
videos
anywhere
are?
from like 10 minutes to 45 minutes. So there's a lot of range in there.
Dude,
And then,
they're
like I
great.
said, some are more engaging than others, but they're typically all pretty good.
Oh, Harker, you know what's good?
Yeah, because I could tell you that I've kind of been in the mode lately where, because ever since I got my new Raycon earbuds, yeah, those things are kicker, and I would like to endorse Raycon at this time and put in a plug for them. You get you some Raycon earbuds, and you, my friend, will be satisfied. Take those AirPods and throw them in the trash, because as far as longevity, as far as everything, go with Raycon.
Raycon, please sponsor us. I love you guys too. I bought some. And then I got John some because they're so awesome. We're willing to plug your stuff. We like it, you know. Anyways, Harker, you have something to say?
I was just going to say, since when did you guys get some sort of sponsorship?
Oh, no, we don't have sponsorships. We just really like Raycon.
I don't need one for Raycon. Let me tell you, Raycon. Oh, mwah. No, I love the product. It's just good. They fit in my ear. I can even like lay on a pillow with one in my ear, and I can't even feel it. I know it's there.
It's like the Princess and the Pea.
I mean,
Except for
I'm not going to be
that's not the point of
unrealistic
the
here.
Princess and the Pea, but whatever.
But yeah. Thank you, Hyrum, for that.
It just felt like I'd cut in.
I've gotten in the mood where I'll make a playlist on YouTube, and I'll throw a couple of videos in there that are maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 5 minutes to 12, 13 minutes long, and a couple of them are in there, and I'll put it on that playlist, and I'll just play the playlist, and I'll have maybe 3 or 4 videos in that playlist, and I'll just listen to that as I go to sleep. Often I'll find that I never catch the last video because I usually crash somewhere in there, but the playlist, it times out. You hit the end of the playlist, it stops, my phone goes to bed. Good night. But so it's kind of like auto shut off for me. But that's the habit I've gotten into. I'm going to have to check out some creepypasta for that, but hopefully it doesn't have an adverse effect and keep me awake.
Now, you got to realize some of it's cringe, but some of it's pretty good. And have you ever heard about the SCPs, Harker? It's like a subsection of the horror thing where it's like it's based around this fake government organization like that deals with like supernatural stuff. And
I
like
was wondering what that was because I saw a video recently and I was like, "What's this
SCP?" Yeah, it's like a amateur
I watched
horror
this one
story
with
thing.
a mask. Yeah, it's like a mask that they kept locked up and how the mask would take over people.
Dude,
it was on the infographics.
There's some really good ones. There's some pretty interesting ones, but a lot of the newer ones are trash cancer, like just bad. So you got to look out and try to pick the right ones if you want to listen to that stuff.
Well,
Speaking of trash cancer,
nose around.
I am absolutely PO'd, my boys. Something's really been grinding my gears.
Uh-oh. Well, before you go into there, the reason I went off into that, me listening to things, is I like to listen to people with a good voice and cadence. So thanks, Harker, for the recommendation on Creeps MC Pasta.
Yes, and then there's another one. He doesn't do creepypastas, but he does supposedly real stories. I don't know. I can't vouch for that, but his Mr. Nightmare, and he has like a good voice as well. So
that guy has a good voice. I used to listen to him back when I was on the little grind of his horror stories. But
yeah, I can appreciate a good voice. Okay, Hyrum, what
Anyways.
grinds your gears? Mr. Nightmare
this has been on my mind
does not
for
grind your gears.
a few days. So in the theme of Halloween, what's the staple ritual? I feel like the whole holiday season, you're just chillaxing with the boys, drinking some Sprite
Carving
cranberry.
that stupid pumpkin.
You're carving the stupid pumpkin, but you're kind of bored because, pumpkins are whack. So you turn on the TV, you flip through the channels, and, you're going to watch, by golly, you're going to watch Charlie Brown specials. The pumpkin one, the Christmas one. They're great.
The Great Pumpkin Charlie
They're
Brown.
iconic, if you will. Apple killed them. Apple has ruined my childhood. And you know what? I'm mad at Apple for multiple things now, but this is the worst thing I think they've ever done. Literally atrocious.
I mean, besides inventing trashy products and selling them to people that don't know any better.
Yeah, Apple, you suck. Okay, I just gotta say straight up, not good. Okay.
You guys, all you did is invent a replacement for the BlackBerry. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The government bought it.
Anyways, Apple's bad in general, but this is really, they bought the rights to the Charlie Brown Christmas specials, like the Christmas and the Halloween, like all the Charlie Brown specials. And they're going to have them exclusively on Apple TV now.
Well, I have to hate Charlie Brown now.
Well, what did Charlie Brown do to you?
You can't hate the captor. You have to hate the the one that captures.
Yeah. You got that backwards.
Yeah.
So hate the captor, not the captee.
Yeah, not the captive. Yes.
Yeah, so
you can't.
Somebody sold Charlie Brown.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't the original creator of Charlie Brown because he's probably dead.
True.
And it wasn't
True.
Charlie Brown didn't sell himself because he doesn't exist.
Basically,
Yeah.
Apple killed my childhood, and they've been on TV forever. Like I think they were saying like just dozens of years. Like they've just.
Can I
always been
just
on.
throw this out there? We talked a little bit about in our last show about different iconic figures and how they represent different organizations. Really, really good material. But can I just say that Joe Cool, Snoopy's alter ego, is got to be the coolest cartoon character from my childhood. So much so that even as an adult, I would consider buying a Joe Cool t-shirt. And where is it? If Apple bought it, why aren't you using this for marketing? What is your problem? I mean, you guys make trash phones that you can't do anything with unless you hack it and put in your own software. And it's just garbage. It's so garbage. Like, ugh. And then you buy up product characters and then you just trash them too? Sorry about the rant.
Hey, dude, I'm mad. I'm storming. I'm absolutely...
I feel you.
I'm disappointed, you know what? After all this crap going on in the world recently, I can't even turn on the TV. The worst part of 2020. Absolutely worst thing that's happened this year. I don't care anything else.
So the pandemic hit, and Apple bought Charlie Brown, and now we have to have Apple TV in order to watch the Charlie Brown special.
And they did say they were going to be free to watch on Apple TV, but the fact that, well, at least for a few days, but the fact that I have to even install anything Apple related absolutely triggers me. I cannot bear it.
No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, not one step.
Like, you might as well bury Charlie Brown.
I'm not the only one. I was seeing news articles.
No,
I think
I'm
the riots
convinced
started
that-
back up over this.
No, I'm convinced that the corporation Apple, and I mean, I'm sorry, I mean, this may be totally false. This is just my opinion, that they're anti-capitalism and they're anti-American, and they probably purchased an iconic American character just to bury it. They probably did do that. Who knows?
Scumbags.
Apple, don't come after me, because, I mean, that's just my opinion, but prove me wrong. Put it back on TV.
Oh, there's another thing about Apple, too. You heard the whole meme with the iPhone, what was it, 12 now? Heck if I know, but like freaking...
The one with 3 cameras.
Yeah, the one with the cameras and the box. But anyways...
Oh, the one that comes with the I know where you're going.
I
know where you're going.
So they got this new phone coming out. It comes with a cable, apparently, but it doesn't even come with a power brick. You can't even charge your new phone now.
And isn't it the power brick isn't even compatible with any of the older power bricks?
No, because their new cable is USB-C to the Lightning Apple one, the weird one that they invented just to be like bad, basically, just so they could be special. And nobody has
Now-
a freaking
Now
USB-C brick.
there is one thing though about the Apple phone is that the Apple plug-in that they use for the bottom of their phone, it does tend to last a little longer than most of the USBs I've used in the past. But then again, it's because they saw this awesome way to do it, and they purchased it, and then they hoard it for themselves, and they don't standardize the market because they're all about differentiation and selling crap. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this whole power brick and this whole new way of doing it is they don't want to pollute the environment, and they don't want more trash out there. So you may not need it, so they don't want to send it to you. If I'm not correct, is that right or not?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think there's too many of them in existence already, even though they're incompatible with the new cable.
Too many of them. Well, then how about this, Apple? How about instead of making me purchase a power brick with my new phone that I just spent $1,000 on, it's probably over $1,000.
$1,300, I think, for this new one.
Yeah, $1,300 for a phone that you don't give me a charging brick for, and you love the environment so much, then how about if I bring you an old brick, you give me one for free? How about that? Let's see you put your money where your mouth is about caring for our planet. And how about let's start a recycling program? I bring you an old iPhone that I purchased in the past for $1,000, and you give me $100 off, or maybe, hey, here's an idea, $200 off my new phone, and you give me the frickin' charger for it. That'd be nice. Man, you got me on a freaking pedestal there, dude. That was a little.
Well, Apple sucks.
I get heated about Apple. I get heated, dude.
It's trash. What can you say?
Yeah. And well, the thing that I hate is it's like dumb phone use. Like if you don't have the time to learn how to use your phone, I guess you have more important things to do. I guess there's people out there that could be like that. They're such a powerful tool for us these days. I don't understand why you wouldn't want more capability than what Apple dictates you can have. It's ridiculous. And in my opinion, the little green Android man is one of the most iconic figures of the 21st century.
He could totally beat Steve Jobs in a fight.
And see, their whole thing, this is their whole ploy. This is Apple's ploy, right? Oh, well, we'll get into government. We'll get into and they failed. They failed miserably.
Wait,
IBM
government
took over. Yeah.
Oh.
So they're old computer systems, right? They were like competing with Microsoft and competing with that. Well, they failed miserably because they wanted to make this niche product and they wanted to capture the government market on just providing computers to the government. Well, they failed. Like, because Apple's trash. It can't do half of what the other computers could do. And it was so confined and so reliant on its own software and building it for that they weren't interested in building their computer for someone else. And so they didn't get the contract. So what did they do? They went tooth and nail in and got the education contracts, right? They were putting free computers in schools across this country because their whole plan was, we'll raise a generation on our computer, and that'll be the computer that they know how to use. And when they go out in the real world, they're going to want to use an Apple.
Heinous.
Well, guess what?
Evil.
Yeah. So they had this total evil monopoly-like approach to it, from my opinion and my point of view of how I saw it, and many that I've talked to. And that's the way they went about it. I mean, come on. Ridiculous. Like, and so, but what happened? It blew up in their face. Why? Because they're not going to go buy millions of dollars worth of more computers. No, they're going to tell you, hey, I'm glad that your education sucked because you learned how to play Oregon Trail on your Apple IIe, but, we don't really do those here. Here's your workstation. Sit down and learn how to use this software right here and get at it or be gone. And so they did nothing but hinder the American children in preparing for future careers. Who knows if we actually educated kids on computer software and computers that actually mattered in the real world.
We could be on Mars by now.
Oh man, you guys, yeah, Hyrum, you gotta get off these
Okay,
topics. Just climb
let's
this
see.
mountain.
You know, I was playing some video games the other day, and I just heard this. I felt this immense pain in my head. Do you guys have any clue what that could be about?
I think you need to see a doctor.
Well, if you were playing Tarkov, it might have been the frustration at getting sniped by a scab from 150 meters that you never saw.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, I have no idea what it could have been.
He actually felt the sniper's bullet.
It's real life.
He's into the Matrix.
Dude, that would be so cool if you could actually go into the Matrix.
That would not be cool at all.
Well,
plug
not if you,
into
like,
Tarkov?
died.
No way.
Dude, if you could, that would be so cool. You just like creeping through the Russian wilderness with your friends, and then you get brutally slaughtered. That sounds pretty cool.
Hyrum, do you forget, if you die in the Matrix, you die in the real world?
Yeah, but I mean, I was talking more like a VR chat type situation where it's like just chill.
So you don't want the full experience.
Can't we all just play Beat Saber and get along?
Right.
By the way, Beat Saber is awesome, man. It's really fun.
Yeah, I think that's really the direction that future video games are going to go, is that in-depth. I mean, yeah, there's some safety bugs to work out and some other things and equipment costs and that, but as things lean that way, and then development, of course, always lags behind the technology, because you can't produce, it seems like, any more, as soon as they put out a version of a game, it's already, old and considered almost, in the past. I guess time moves in one direction.
Well, maybe the future of immersive entertainment can be a subject on the next podcast. However, I feel like now is a good time to call it a day.
Well, it's been good visiting with you guys, and I hope everybody who listened enjoyed to listen along with It's Copacetic. If you have any questions or any comments or any feedback you'd like to give us, feel free to write us at copaceticpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you and good night.
It's been perfectly copacetic.